Welcome, fellow last places, to another episode of LPF Debrief, where Chris and I talk about comic books, TV shows, and movies. And on today's episode, as the title says below, we are going to be discussing the season finale of The Last of Us Season 1. It has finally come to an end, unfortunately. I can't believe it's been 9 weeks. And I think it's safe to say we have experienced the greatest video game adaptation of all time. So, I mean, we said it since the first episode, but now we just solidified it. So, before we get into our review and what we thought about it, guys, as always, please like, share, subscribe, do all that good stuff. Let people know about us. It helps us with our visibility and stuff like that. Also, down below in the comments, let us know. Even on Spotify, there's going to be like Q&A stuff. If you guys want to let us know, if you're on Spotify, let us know how you feel, or follow us on all those stuff. Like I said, all that stuff helps. There will be spoilers ahead for sure, video game included. So if you're not wanting to play all that or do that, then keep listening. If not, pause it, come on back. So let's get right into it, because that's what everyone's here for. So Chris, it fell upon us 9 weeks before, before we get into what we thought of the episode. Just overall experience about, like, did you think it was going to be as accurate and pulled? Because I mean, for me, speaking for myself, even the parts that they changed was amazing. So did you think it was going to be as good as it was, or
Uh,
did you think it was going to be like, a little bit off?
yeah, I didn't think it was gonna be this well done. I felt like I was more heartbroken in the show than in the game. I think it's just because it's a real life aspect now instead of the game aspect. Because for some people, it takes a lot for a game uh, to make them cry because they're like, oh, it's a video game. But like
I
as I
cried.
get
I
older,
cried on
as I get
everything.
older, God of War, all that stuff,
Oh,
it's
I
just
cried
like,
in that God of War too.
yeah, yeah. So,
I'm ready to
um,
cry nowadays.
yeah. So it it surprised me, and like you said, the things that they changed ended up being perfect. Hold on.
Oh, you got a
Okay. Uh,
pupper on the loose.
no, we're
We
good. We're
might
good. We're
see a.
good. We're good. Sorry.
All
Yeah.
right.
But yeah. It was just fantastic. I I expected a little bit more changes, to be honest, but other than that, like I mean, the only major change was we got episode 3.
Yeah,
You know what I
yeah,
mean? We got a
yeah.
story that we didn't have before.
That was
Um,
great.
and it was perfect. Yeah,
Yeah,
everybody. I mean, that kind of roped people in. That episode
yeah.
itself roped people into
I agree
the
with
show
that.
itself. So
Especially the casual audience, right? And I don't mean casual in like just like a, in a mean term. It's just like, if you didn't play the game, it's like you're like, and you know about it. But yeah, I think the first two episodes definitely reeled us in, right? The gamers, the people who played the story, the people who experienced it already. We were already like, episode one, we were like, oh snap. And then episode two, we were like, yep, that's it. And then episode three, I feel like it brought both of those fans together, right? Like, it was like, here's a new story that neither of you guys know. We did use a character that was here previously, but we created this new story, and like, we feel like this story was better. And and honestly, in my opinion, it was 100%, especially episode three. Even the stuff they did with Sam and Henry, I thought was overall just better.
yeah,
Like, you know what I mean? Like, just have making him deaf added just a whole nother element. But we'll talk more detail about the our overall stuff a little bit later. I just wanted to get like an early opinion on that. But the episode itself, final episode, it starts off with the birth of Ellie, which, what a fantastic, what's that word called when they like, it's like, I forget what the words. I'm gonna think of it afterwards, of course. But like, such a great way to introduce the real like, not the
yeah.
real Ellie, but like, you know what I mean?
Ellie giving
Like,
birth to Ellie is what I put in my notes.
exactly.
Yeah,
Like, yeah. And I don't know what the word is, but we find out that Ellie's mom is name is Anna. And if you guys didn't know, the actress is the one who played Ellie in the TV show. I mean, in the game, which was just fantastic, right? Because as soon as it was kind of like
It took me a
we kind
minute
of
to
got
realize it was her because
it didn't for me
I
because the thing is when we got the Troy Baker episode,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
We were like, okay, Troy Baker is in here, and we kind of like no fault of like we just kind like I kind of forgot. I was like, well, hold on, we're supposed to see one more character because I knew I watched all the interviews beforehand, and she was super excited. She was like, "Yep, I'm going to be in there. I'm going to play a certain role, and you guys are going to be shocked with the role I play." And I was 100% shocked because as soon as I saw her face, I was like, "Oh snap!" Like, so I was just like, "Yo, like that's Ellie!" Like, and I don't know how many people caught it. So when she was pregnant, I was like, oh, she's giving birth to the Ellie we know. I was like, this is amazing. I was like, what a smart way to kind of it was such a smart way to have us like kind of throw us off, but it's like, yeah, because technically she gave birth to this character like in the game. So it only makes sense
And
that
we
she
get
gave
why she's immune, the whole umbilical cord thing. It
exactly
was like,
that.
this is smart. I
Yeah,
like this. I like
this
this a
is
lot.
smart, and that's a change that they did that we didn't get.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry, it was played by Ashley Johnson. So, she's the one who actually plays the video game Ellie, and it was just really cool because she, and she was a badass. Let's not even talk about that. But yeah, it was really cool to see that. Just to think of such a creative way of adding that character, and it also gives her such a big like I feel like it's an homage, right?
Yeah.
Because at the like it's like home like big homage to her because like she is Ellie that we know, right? And that is 2013 is when she played that character. And for her to give birth to be Ellie's mom is really cool because now you will always refer to her as also Ellie's mom. So like it's a really cool thing that they did. I thought it was genius what they did with the umbilical cord and having the immunity because in the game we never really find out why Ellie's immune. We just kind of know she's immune. We don't really find out in any of the two games, right?
Yeah. No, we don't. We
Yeah,
just
we don't. We
she doesn't
for
even
sure
know or
don't.
anything like that. So it's
Yeah,
kind
no
of
one knows.
yeah.
We
Um,
yeah.
I was gonna say too, since we're on the beginning part of this, the only issue I had was the infected finding her because she
Yeah,
it's in the field. She gets to the house. I'm like, she's safe, and then she gets to the room, and then you hear the door bust, and I was like, there's no way this thing
yeah.
tracked her all the way back to the house. I
That
was like, what is going on
and that
here?
was the thing that was weird to me because I know it was just like a regular infected, and usually, I mean, the problem is right because I know the perspective that you're thinking about it from because we experience like it's from the game
Yeah,
perspective,
yeah, yeah. You're
right?
like,
And I think that's why both of you I agree with you that there makes no sense that they were in an open field and
you don't see it
he
in the
had
open
to have
field or
he had
anything.
to have lost it doesn't even matter. Even when he's not in the open field,
Yeah.
once she closes the door, he has lost sight of her. So like it should have just been like I could understand if it was like, it was like bursting in, but like the fact that it immediately made it to her, like I was kind of like, like I get why we got here, but we could have done it a different
Yeah, it
way.
was like
Like, you know what I
clean it
mean?
up a
Like
little
I
bit, but
get you
yeah.
wanted to make the bite. But also, what I always find funny and random is how everyone gets bit when the character never looks like the infected never looks like it bites them in that
Yeah,
area.
and you
Am
don't
I
see
tripping?
them go
Like,
like ah
yeah, like, but also it's
my
just kind of
arm.
like, oh, I got bit, and it's like after the fact. Like, I know you're going through all the adrenaline and stuff, but if you go back, when did that infected bite her in the leg? When? Because I didn't see it. And it's the same way with Sam. Because if you look with Sam, he's getting pulled on the leg, right?
Yeah, but the
And
ankle one I can understand because he's like
I
he was
get no,
under
like
the car, right?
I get both of them of how they got bit. Like
Yeah,
I
yeah,
get
but
it,
it's
but
like
I'm just
you
saying
don't
when you're
see.
looking at it, it doesn't look like they get bit. And I know it's a camera TV trick,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
like if you look at the infected itself, it's like when exactly did this bite happen? It was even the same with Ellie, because when Ellie's like in the mall and she's kind of like this, the infected is like right here.
And they
that
should have
whole
had a
time.
moment where it's like, like, she's
Yeah,
like
so
in
like,
this way and it's
yeah,
just
like
like biting
how
her.
wouldn't you know? Because
Yeah.
it was her stabbing arm. So it's whatever. It's a small nitpicking thing, but it was just weird to see.
My other question is too, because I think I'm wrong on it, so now I can ask. The girl that plays Marlene,
That's the one. She's the actress. That's correct.
I thought she tried to audition for Marlene and didn't get it. She got I thought she ended up, or no, I thought that was what's her name? Riley?
Riley? No, no, no. What do you mean?
The girl from the DLC, what's her name? Her Ellie's
That's
friend.
Riley.
That's Riley.
Riley.
The woman that's the actress for Marlene, wasn't she Riley in the game and then she grew up to be Marlene in the show?
You could.
Because if
be
so,
right. I don't think so. Hold
I
on, let
thought
me
she
check.
mentioned it, and if so, that means it was. I told Bree it's roles reversed because Ellie had to kill Riley, and now in the show Riley kills Ellie.
Technically, yeah. I think. Hold on.
I thought it was that. I could have swore.
I don't think so. I'm pretty sure she was, because I remember in the first episode, she says that I like grew up playing this character. Yeah, it's the same person.
Okay, so she
the
did
woman
play,
who plays Marlene, yeah,
is the same
plays,
person.
yeah.
Okay, never mind. It would have been cool. I thought it was.
It would have been funny,
that.
but also that was ruthless. That whole part, like, and I get it though, like, you know what I mean. You wouldn't. I would want someone to do that to me too.
Yeah, it was the
like,
begging that get every time.
Yeah.
The begging in movies and shows get to me, man. All right,
Yeah.
so we had, in spoilers for Avengers. Yeah, I'm just gonna throw it out there because there's just in case there's a lot. Yeah, listen, there's a lot of people.
Right,
there's a lot of people that are going through all the Avengers because they're like, I want to see what the hype's about. So just in case. But I was good with the movie after the snap. I was like, oh man, this is crazy. And then what broke me was Peter saying, I don't want to go, like everyone. Begging not to go.
Yeah.
And then he goes. And I'm like, oh, that did it. Yeah. So
like,
there's another movie that comes to mind too. Or it's there, but I can't remember what it was. That has a begging scene. But yeah, whenever you hear her in the other room and she's like, please, like, I was like, oh my God.
Well, it's such a tough thing, right? Because at the end of the day, like, what can you do, right? Especially in the moment that they're in. Like, she has no choice. Like, you have to. It's either that or you let her walk around as infected and you do it anyway.
And she suffers. Like, she suffers while she's transitioning. Yeah.
Well, not only the suffering, but you potentially could turn someone else into an infected. Like, there's so much of reasons on why you should immediately do it, especially, again, at the point that they were at, because they don't know anyone who has a thing. So it was really cool, like you were saying about the umbilical cord and how they made Ellie immune. I thought it was a sweet ad, just so that we kind of had the information, and it was really just really quick, right? It was just like, yeah, I cut it off before it got to me, but like it was just enough so what would make her immune. So that was super dope. You could see the pain in Marlene's face there. She's just like, damn, like, you know what I mean? Like, I didn't want to do this. And then she goes in. And also, the guy that she told cover the baby's ears. Why did he cover the baby's ears?
That's in my notes. She's like, cover the baby's ear. And then he doesn't do he doesn't flinch.
He's just like, he's just like, oh, I got a baby in it. What, cover the baby's ears? Like, duh.
Yeah.
But the baby's going to cry. But what if, you don't know if there's some infected that follow them.
Man. Believe me, we were watching. I thought, you thought the same thing. I was like, he didn't even try to. He didn't even attempt. Didn't even like the blanket, something, anything. Like, you know what I mean? But to give a straight up birth like that was also insane. Mm-hmm.
So like, just nothing. She just said, oh, adrenaline, because you're fighting infected. So and that's such a, like, the timing on that is so bad. It's just like one of those things where it's like that happens in Quiet Place, where it's just like, dang, this is not the right time to have a child, like another baby. Like, so yeah, it was crazy. Like, it was great, that first scene to start us off. And then pretty much we go Ellie and Joel, and we are pretty much the video game. Like that. I mean, pretty much scene for scene, they pretty much said it was video game. Like, and I'm so happy it was like that. Like, we got straight to the point, right? We find out about Joel, and we see how Ellie has changed from the events of the last episode, where she's just a very dark and somber person now, and she's very like distant, right? And it goes to show that they did such a good job in the show and in the game of expressing this, because if you guys remember the beginning, Joel was very distant, right? And he was very like away from Ellie, but now Joel's the one who's like trying to start
Yeah,
conversations
cheer her
and
up
trying
and
to be like cheer her up and being the fun sarcastic person, while Ellie is the dark and somber person, because she, after that
it's
she's like
traumatized. Yeah.
she's traumatized, but she's also just a darker person now, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And then so it was really cool to see that turn of characters, and then we find out Joel's story about him wanting to, basically shoot himself, because he was basically, the she was like, oh, so that's how you got that scar, and he was like, no, he was like, and then basically opens up to her, because again, Joel is at the point now where Ellie is his child. Like, this is, we saw the turn in the last episode. The baby girl part was the key, right? And then ever since then, it's like, this is my kid now, right? So, and that's why they build it up the way they did, because again, where we were going to go, and we knew this, but we knew where we were going to go and where that relationship had to be in order for it to get to where it went. So he finally opens up and lets her know that, he missed. He was the person who missed. And then she says that really cool line where she's just like, "Oh, I guess time heals all." And he's like, "It wasn't time." And I was like,
Yeah,
like,
but
"Oh
also
my god!"
Ellie's look on her face, she's like, all right,
I
dude.
like,
Like, yeah,
yeah,
it's just
no, no, no. I mean, she was. I don't know if she was really.
she.
It was a weird. But I think she was just like a little bit in shock too, though.
I know, but I think she was still trying to keep her distance because she knew what was gonna
Yeah,
happen.
but
Like,
she knew that. But she also kind of. But she was also just in a dark place, right? Like,
yeah,
she's
yeah,
in a place where it's just like, I don't know how I feel about what I just did, right? Like, I let myself get to this certain point. Is it like, am I okay? Like, you know what I mean? So, and you notice it was all about the mission. And then we see another cool video game reference when they do the before they get to the giraffes, but the lift up when she goes to get the ladder,
oh, and then
like,
she just takes
yeah,
off, and
very,
yeah, yep,
but it's all very much like the
the
game, but
game.
I'm
Yeah, you're
saying the whole
chasing her.
lift off and
Hmm.
thing like that. And then even before we got there, Joel was saying, oh, he wanted to hear jokes about the about like hear bad puns and stuff like that. So it was a really cool to see that relationship before they get to the final point. Um, but yeah, and then the giraffe scene, pretty much
Which
game to
apparently
game.
was a real giraffe.
What?
That's what
I mean, it wouldn't be. You know what? It wouldn't be that hard, because
it
if
wouldn't be
you,
that hard, but also I was like, it looked, it didn't look real to me,
no, it
and
doesn't
then
look real because of the background.
oh, true.
The background looks fake.
But also, I feel like that's something they would show in the, the extra scenes. So I
Yeah.
I read that later on. It was like confirmed. It was like, yes, this was a real giraffe, and I was like, I
Mhm.
feel like that's something you would show, like a moment you would
Yeah.
show, like
Yeah, because I'm pretty sure what they did was, and this is just a theory, this could be totally wrong. I'm pretty sure they green screened, like they
they had the buildings real,
digitalized.
and then the
Yeah,
background is
but they
digital. Yeah,
probably did like went to like a zoo or a habitat or something along those lines.
yeah,
Because where when you when you go feed giraffes, like they walk straight up to you,
yeah,
like no
yeah.
problem. So that's not surprising in that end. But the background was definitely CGI. So, but yeah, and we see that scene, and then we see, of course, we're gonna make it to the spot, and then as the jokes are being told, they like the guys in the background was the funniest moment to me, because they're like, like they're like, hey, then they're just like flashbang, boom, and I was like, damn, they didn't even wait, like nothing. But I get it, because you never know who's. First of all, that's an area you only know. How
Yeah.
are you gonna just get these random stragglers? Are they raiders or what they what? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So
but you also don't need to give Joel a concussion on the
I mean,
way.
listen, like, again, they don't care. They don't
Yeah,
care.
true.
They don't know, you know what I
Yeah,
mean? And they probably didn't know until Marlene was the one who told them,
yeah,
like, whoa, like, you know what I mean? We got them,
yeah.
like, he
This is
got
who
them
we were
there.
waiting for. Yeah,
Hmm. And it was awesome, that conversation with, with Joel and Marlene, basically like, hey, like, this is like this, basically talking about the contracept and what the plan was, and saying that she was getting prepped for surgery. and then Joel kind of putting it together, and he was like, "Wait a minute, like the cordyceps is like part of your brain, kind of thing." And she's like, and then you notice that she gets quiet. She's like, "Yeah," and he was like, "Oh, nah. Like, let me
Yeah,
get
it's
her now." And like, you know what I mean? Like, he was not playing. He was like, "I need it now." Like, you know what I mean? So that was fun. My thing is, Marlene, and this is just a bad move on her part. You knew this man literally went cross country with only two people that you know of, because she doesn't know about Tommy at this point. She
Yeah.
doesn't know about any of that. Why would you only send two people with this man who you know is a natural born killer?
And especially after you say you made it was just you two and we lost 5 guys on the way here. How'd you do it?
Not only that, but you knew, like, not only that, but you also knew his track record.
Yeah.
You knew he was a man of violence. Also, on top of that, you send only two people, like two people. This man has killed plenty. You watched him kill plenty of people. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, what are you doing? And then not only that, after you just told him and saw his reaction of what he thought you were going to do to what he knew you were going to do to Ellie. So you knew his reaction. You knew he grew an attachment to her because he clearly had an outburst. And then you were like, "Oh, yeah, we're just going to send two people with him." Like, now, what he does after, you can't really plan on. But like, sending two people was a big mistake. And those guys were way too close to him to begin with. If it was me, I'd have been like, "You, sir, just because I know where he needs to go is behind me."
Mm-hmm.
So like, go 6 feet in front, sir. And if as soon as he steps 5, pat pat, that's it. Like, real simple, real quick. And then she's gonna be like, "Hey, what happened to him?" Like,
He moved.
He moved. He came this way.
I took
This
no
man's
chances.
dangerous. No, thank you. Like, you know what I mean? And then who's gonna? But like, seriously though, and in that scenario, who's gonna care? Because Ellie's technically not gonna make it anyway.
Yep.
If she doesn't, you know what I mean? So who's gonna know? No one's gonna know. Tess is gone. So like, no one would have known or cared. Like, you know what I mean? But so at that point, I was just like, yeah, I was like, what you got, you deserve, because you left this dangerous man with only two people.
If Tess survived, right? Say she survived and we get to that scenario, it still has to play out the same way, right? Tess is not going to let that happen, I don't think. Because she was already getting a kind of an attachment in the...
No, but Tess, that's the thing, though. The thing is, I mean, how much, but here's the thing. How much does that relationship change with Tess?
With Tess around, yeah.
Yeah. So, you know what I mean? Like, I don't think it's the same kind of relationship, which is why they put the two of them, right? Because it's a personal bond. Like, there's only us two. I think Joel becomes more distant if Tess survives.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? I don't think, or, you know, especially because, you know, because, I mean, I don't remember, because Tess got bitten while they were with Ellie, right?
Yep.
That was, yeah. So I don't think, you know, if Tess survives, I don't think the relationship's the same. I don't think we get the same outcome. We might have a whole different scenario. I mean, it would be cool to do like a what if, but I don't think the relationship definitely doesn't build as much with Tess there. So I think, go ahead.
I was gonna say, but then we get into the John Wick moment of like, I swear his eyes are just black in that whole scenario. He's just wide-eyed and he's just going through and he's taking out everybody.
But he's a motivated man who's, first of all, this was a man who was completely shattered.
Yep.
Right? He literally wanted to, you know, shoot himself. Like, because he lost his daughter. And then you're going to tell him the closest thing to potentially his daughter, he's going to lose again. So it's I get it. Like, he was either going to make it to Ellie or he was 100% going to die trying.
Yep.
Like, there is no in between, right? It was either he gets Ellie or he doesn't. Like, by doesn't, like, you're going to kill him to not get her. So I thought like that whole scene was dope, and the slow motion, like perfect, kind of just like handling people, and he's ruthless in there, man. He was taking people out like
Yeah,
it wasn't even a game.
and Bree was asking me too. She's like, "Do you think he did the right thing?" I was like, "No, of course he didn't do the right thing, but I understand why he
Yeah,
does it. It's not the right thing, but you understand, you get it."
and then again, and then yeah, and that's the goal, right? The I mean, the part we're talking about, obviously, guys. You know, once he sees the doctor, foreshadowing, uh, but he sees that doctor, and he's like, "No games,
No
no questions.
hesitation
I'm not gonna
either.
let you poop." Like,
That was so fast. He
yes, you
grabbed this.
are.
He grabbed the
Yes, you are. Like he
scalpel and
was
everything. I was
eating,
like,
and that's what the guard should have did to Joel. Like that's exactly what the guard should have done. As soon as Joel came a little bit too close, Pat, real quick, Joel wasn't playing no games. He was like, I'm not gonna let you, Pat, take it out of her now. Like,
yeah.
boom, grabs her in the scene just like the game, and it's just I do wish it was a little bit more dramatic like the game was, though. That end part where like you're going down and you're like running with
Oh
her.
yeah, that's what I thought. I
Yeah,
thought he was gonna be
yeah,
running with her, and you had because I
yeah,
remember that part in the game where you're holding
mhm,
her and you have
yeah,
to dodge all these guys, and it was
yeah,
to me I was frustrated because I
yeah,
was like, this is so stupid. Can I put her down,
yeah,
please?
and
Let
yeah.
me just take out these guys. But
But I get it.
yeah,
That would
yeah,
have been a little bit too much.
yeah,
Like, you know what I mean? Because they're not gonna miss all those shots like they do in the game. You get hit and you can take a few bullets, you know what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah.
But in this scenario, I mean you could still do a cool scene where he kind of like has to go around. And then we see the famous garage scene again in what you call it, just like the game. And again, most of that part was the ending was just like the game. Pretty much everything was really close. Like word for word was really close. Just the whole conversation of you like, there's still time to save this. Like this it could still work. And then he obviously shoots Marlene and he knows because he knows, right? At that point, once he's gotten her, he's like, what can I do? Like she's going to come back after me. And then we see the scene where he literally is like, it says that. He's like, you're just gonna come after her. Bap. And like ends it. And then I was, watching that whole ending scenes and I was like, oh man, this is just like the game. Like, you know what I mean? And he's just saying all the whole stories and he's saying they're working their way back to Tommy's place. And then she finally asked the question. And like I did the nerd moment because like I totally said everything she was saying. Like, you know what I mean? Because like like it's one of my favorite endings in a game because it's like it's so short and it's so subtle and it's so sweet, but it's also like there's so much complexity behind there, right? Because like she doesn't believe him. Like she wants to believe him.
Yep.
She wants to believe what he said.
And we also
That
didn't
the
think. Oh, go ahead, go ahead.
Yeah, she wants to believe that Raiders did show up and take out the Fireflies and that there was other people who were immune. She wants to believe it, but there's a part of her, and you guys will see it even in the next season. There's a part of her who knows. She knows, and then but because what's his name said that was really that at the end where he's just like she's like yeah she want like Craig says he's like she wants to believe him but the person that she loves the most like she wants to believe him doesn't but the person that she loves the most is telling her something and she has to try to believe it
Yeah,
like you know what I mean so it's such a whirlwind because it's like damn like literally this guy like saved my life throughout. I saved his. Like this is kind of like my dad now at this point, like my father figure, and like he's telling me this blatant, like he's telling me a lie, and I don't know what to do from here. So
yeah. I mean, I was gonna say we also didn't know we were gonna get a second game at the time, so like that ending,
no,
it was also
yeah,
good to see because Bree never saw the first game. She saw the second. She saw me play through the second one. So when it ended there and the credits come up, she's like, "Wait, that's it?" I was like, "Man,
yeah.
that's the same feeling I had whenever I finished the game." And I was like, "No, like, come on, I want to
But
see
that's
him get to the
yeah.
yeah."
Even without a second game, like there that is the perfect ending.
It was, yeah.
Like because it's the perfect ending to continue it, obviously, or just end it there because what else is she gonna do? She can't do anything else. Like, as far, what is she gonna go out and try to like investigate like that? You know what I mean? That that this happened or what? Like, did it really happen? Like, I don't know. So it's kind of crazy that that's happened. But again, she would have noticed over time because obviously, like, no, but like no like there was no vaccine or cure for it. So it would have been a really interesting dynamic. But her saying, tell me everything is the truth, and then he goes, yeah, I didn't like thing, and then she just goes, okay. Like I was like, oh, the feels.
Yeah.
I was like the feels. So man, what a, like I said at the top, definitely the best that we've gotten, best adaptation that we've gotten. I'm hoping that this opens up the gate to get more people who wrote stories for games to actually get inside of those writing rooms like it should be, and not just slapping that like producer thing on their names just so that they can be part of the films. Like, people, they've been doing that for so long. So now that Neil was able to actually get into the writing room and write the story, and also sticking to his guns, like, you're not taking away his pride, like his story. And you, if anyone's going to make changes to it or authorize those changes, it's going to be him. So I'm glad he stuck to his guns. HBO did a fantastic job. I mean, HBO is the king of TV as far as I'm concerned. Uh, they don't miss. Like, they have a few misses, but like they don't miss as much as other people miss.
Yeah.
So like their great is like all the way at the top. Like, it's always a 9 or a 10. Like, they're great. So it was great to see. I'm glad we got it. I hope this opens the door for more adaptations to make sure they're following the story that we got.
Yeah, I'm hoping the
Halo.
BioShock one is good. Still iffy about God of War. So
I don't want them to do it.
yeah.
You already know how I feel.
Also, I wanted to point out that there was another guest from the game in this episode, and whenever the doctor says you're not taking her, shoots her. The nurse, that's the first nurse that's hiding behind and has her mask on, is that's Abby from the second game. So which I thought was really cool that they snuck her in there. But before you end it, what ended up being that the scene that they cut out from the Riley and Ellie part when they go crazy together or whatever?
What do you mean?
So you said there was a part that was cut out and you didn't want to say anything because you didn't know if they were going to continue to show it from the DLC version. Like, it doesn't really end with them like crying or whatever together. I'm guessing you actually see Riley turn.
No. You do like this huge fight scene where like there's just like a bunch of people, like a bunch of infected that come into that room. Like, there's there's like a bunch of things that happen before you like actually get out, but you don't actually see Riley die.
Okay.
Like, that's what it was. You don't see Riley, like you never see Riley die at the thing. Because I don't remember if she kills her or not. Actually, I need to go back, but I'm pretty positive she doesn't kill her. Like, she doesn't have to, or at least we don't see it in the DLC. So I'm pretty sure that didn't happen. But I could be wrong because I played the DLC for like a long time ago and I didn't replay it. So, but it was pretty accurate. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, overall, best adaptation we've gotten. I'm excited about season 2. Apparently, apparently they asked Neil if they were going to make any changes as far as the story went for season 2, and he was like, because someone apparently asked him. I don't know how true this is, but apparently someone asked him, like, are you going to make any changes because of the backlash that you got for thing, and he was just like, I don't care. Like, so uh so just, we know what happens, and yeah. That's going to be a fun one because they're going to get the same reaction.
Yeah.
I can tell you now it's going to be an amplified reaction, especially because you know why. We'll talk about it off, but like, it's going to be worse now than if that part doesn't change. It's going to be worse now.
It's just cool
Like,
that HBO
100%.
is about not changing the story just because
Well,
of
because
character or like people and
yeah.
stuff like that, like
Well,
the people they have.
Neil's the one who's like, you're not changing my story.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, and I don't think he signs off on another season unless he has the same power that he has now.
Mm-hmm.
And again, he's the creator of the story. I don't blame him. Like, I think more people should do that, and more people should stick to their guns on being in the writer room, especially of something that you created. You know, whether
Avatar.
it's yeah. Oh, okay. Listen, I'm not even gonna get into that, but yeah. So like, you created something, you should 100% have the rights to whatever the story is. I know you can. There's deals and contracts and stuff like that, but like, if I leave a project or something like that, like, you can't do it. Period. And that's what I think. Avatar should have done, but like, because you can't have you, you can't. One of the funniest things about that live action Avatar is that when they were just like, what thing that always makes me laugh, it's like creative differences. Like, how can you have creative differences with the creators of the damn content? Like, no. Like, Netflix, I don't even want to watch it because of that, because I don't understand. But anyway, but yeah, absolute 10 out of 10. This show was a masterpiece. Um, everyone worked, all the actors worked. I'm excited for season 2, even though it might be in 2025. We get it, but I don't think so, because part 2 had less infected than this one, and they didn't even put that many infected in this game. But
Yeah.
the rumor is that season 2 is going to, well, part 2 is going to be broken up into multiple seasons.
Ooh, yeah, I can see that.
Yes,
Yeah.
because
Yep,
part
yep,
2 is definitely longer than part
Yeah,
1.
yeah, 100%.
Definitely,
Yeah,
yeah.
yep.
And there's a lot more to, and I already know what the season finale is going to be of season 2. If they do break it up like that, I know what part's going to be the season.
All right.
So, but I'm excited. So, I'm glad we got this. I'm glad it worked out. I was one of the people who was a nervous wreck about this. Chris will tell you, I was like, I don't want them to do it. It's the same way I feel about God of War right now. I really don't want them to do God of War. But HBO, thank you.
I called it. I called
yeah.
HBO
Mm-hmm.
making it successful. So
I knew if anyone could do it, it would be HBO. Like, you know what I mean? But I'm just happy, like I said, the guns got stick to. No one worried about, like, who was writing it. So overall, masterpiece. What was your favorite part of the series? Because I know mine. I know mine.
Favorite
Mine
part of the
is
Yeah, go ahead.
100% will always be that scene in episode 5 with the Henry and Sam episode, when the infected come out of that hole.
Yeah.
Because the scene was so tense, the music stopped, the pause, perfection. I don't think they shot a better scene than that. The bloater coming out, like, all of it was just perfection. Perfection to me. So that was my favorite by
I'd
far.
have to agree with that, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was my favorite scene. And then
favorite
I don't know.
episode.
That I was about to say favorite episode. That's a tough one, because there's some good episodes. Like, it also might be 5 though, just because that moment's in there. But episode 3, we should probably rank them. Maybe rank, like, not now, but like give a little teaser.
Feel wise, 3 I think is its own thing.
Well, 3, yeah, 3,
yeah.
3.
Because
3
my
is,
my
yeah.
favorite overall is probably the final episode, because of Joel's, like,
Yeah,
that whole
it's a
scene.
good
Like, I
one.
wanted to see more of him, like,
I mean,
fighting a bunch of
listen,
people. So
there was a lot of, like, I don't think I thought an episode was lower than a 9, honestly speaking. So it would even be hard to rank them, just because they were all so good, So yeah, I'm with you on that. But yeah, that would be my favorite part. Maybe we'll do something like that. Maybe a quick one or something of, like, the ranking of the episodes. But overall, the show was fantastic. I loved every second of it. I'm glad we got it. And yeah, so we're definitely going to, I think my computer froze, but I'm still able to talk, but I don't know if the podcast is still recording on my end, which is unfortunate, because damn. But yeah. So, but that's it for us. Thank you guys, as always, for joining us. Thank you guys for the support. We do really appreciate you guys for all the support that you give us. Everyone, we we see the numbers, we see some of the comments. So please, guys, continue to do that stuff. We're all also have Mando out for you guys. I will be dropping those randomly. Well, not randomly, but at some point
Yeah.
after it comes out. And then and then there's some few comic book stuff coming up. I still have to do Ant-Man because I haven't done that yet. So maybe I'll do that this week, even though it's pretty late. But and Shazam comes out next week. And then we're gonna be at MegaCon. So if anybody is at MegaCon, we'll be there. We'll
Yeah.
be taking pictures, having a good time. I need to get that dot thing. I think I'm gonna order that so that we can like boop, boop,
Oh yeah.
get a little.
I'll be passing out
little
stickers.
Yeah.
I got some stickers
Well,
coming in of my character of the person I'm cosplaying.
Oh my god. All right, y'all. Well, thank you everyone for joining us as always. Until next time, Fire Team out.